After the hustle and bustle of Mumbai, it was so nice to take a trip to Lonavala. Dr. Kurush Dalal, who is my teacher, invited us to his bungalow, and we had to get a little chai on the way because, we needed it. It was an early trip. And let me tell you, having the experience of getting out of the city and going up the hills and the ghats to getting to a hill station is an incredible part of the adventure of Mumbai. I cannot explain how beautiful this moment was. To hear stories from Kurush and his wife Rhea, to the incredible love and hospitality they showed me. Just wait until you see the Parsi feast that he put out in front of us, and we're going to dissect it all. But the stories and the time that we got to share together was by far the best part of my trip to India. Kurush is an encyclopedia of food, and to have these moments with him is something I will never forget. From the chai 25 times a day to the incredible amount of love and passion in his voice when he talks about food. Just listen.
So they went to this big dam called Purna, where guess who their accomplice was? The range officer. So they parked their jeep at the range officer's house, put their boat into the water, go across the dam into the forest. So last minute they swerved to avoid the guy and almost missed him. Went over the poor guy's head. So they stopped, gutted him, skinned him, made 6 portions, and took them all.
Clearly, Kurush is a master storyteller, but to understand the depths and layers of his knowledge of food was absolutely unbelievable. Before having a Parsi feast, he explained the history of the Parsi community. To have these moments were something that I cannot explain in the depth of this video of how much it meant to me. Kurush is a master storyteller, and here's another example of how beautiful his stories are.
Those eggs, something about them. Over the years, that little aluminum kadai had turned into silk. And she'd actually teased the egg out with a teaspoon. She cooked fried eggs with a frigging teaspoon.
So, chef, what do you got going on?
We are making something called sali paridu.
Sali bati?
Sali paridu, which means eggs on sali. Sali is potato straws. Pool was a sign of great affluence. So if you were poor, you made them beaten eggs on top. And that was because then you could have fewer eggs going a further distance. So my mother hated beaten eggs. I mean, they taste very nice, personally, I think. But she grew up in a family that was really hard up when she was young. And they always had like 3 eggs between 4 of them, kind of thing. So she would swear never to eat beaten eggs. Similarly, there's a dish called akuri, which is a kind of, how does one put it in a same way? It's a kind of Spanish omelette or whatever you want to call it in English. It's basically scrambled eggs with a lot of spices and onions, tomatoes, chilies, etc. in it. In my grandmother's house, with a little bit of, what do you call it, very, very tiny chopped potatoes. So her ghee would melt, her egg would go in, the edges would start turning frilly, she'd tip it to the side and put the ghee on top, 1 teaspoon at a time. And then she just put a teaspoon in a little bit and slide it up. There would be virtually no freaking ghee left behind. She was that accurate because she was from a poor family. So you had to not waste. And it was a very big thing to eat 2 eggs at her house. I mean, 2 eggs, she considered 1 egg per person every day as a luxury. Eating 2 eggs was like a whoa.
I can't explain to you how full my heart was to have these memories shared together with people I love. And as the food kept coming, so did the stories, like this incredible next thing that Rhea explained that blew my mind.
Eat it by itself. Then if you like it.
So these are something that's typical to Bombay. There's a suburb in the north called Vasai. And they are very well known for these. This is called sukeli.
Okay.
So keli is banana,
Yep.
suka is
Just to
dried.
stick, yeah.
Dried.
From there, Kurush wanted to take us into town and to go get food that we're going to prepare for the evening. And I really didn't know what to expect, but to see Kurush in his element, knowing so many wonderful people, from spice vendors to meat vendors to produce, was really inspiring. Yes, we were in this small car, and I am not a small man, but I kind of just felt at home. To watch people at their craft and to do so, like this gentleman butchering, was brilliant. His skill is just absolutely undeniable. I kind of had this sense of awe where everything around me was just so new and so beautiful. But now it was time to prepare the meal, and right before that, we met this wonderful lady who lives in the mountains, and she comes down and sells crabs. These crabs were absolutely outstanding, and to meet her was truly an honor. It's these things about India that I love so much. Every corner is a story, and every corner is inspiring. So we got all of the stuff from the market, and we began to cook, and to learn so many different dishes, to study this food, is one of the most remarkable things I've ever been able to witness in my entire life. And yes, it would take me a lifetime to learn to do this half as good. But look at Rhea with these beautiful pacha and machi. I cannot explain how gorgeous this fish was. This chicken farcha was absolutely outstanding. The dunsak, I can't, the dunsak was life-changingly good. Everything that we ate was some of the memories that I will cherish for the absolute rest of my life. And the food, it just kept coming. This beautiful brista, these fried onions that were draped over this gorgeous rice dish. I can't explain how delicious this food was. So as the food hit the table, BJ and I were just in awe. The smiles on our faces, the way that we shake our heads in disbelief that something can be this delicious was evident with every bite. See what I mean? This is me just confused on how food can be this wonderful, and I'm so grateful that I got this opportunity.
You and your brother look alike.
Very much.
And as the day carried on, so did the lessons. Getting to know Kurush and his family and the incredible things they have done in the catering world and beyond were really inspiring. And the lessons, well, they continued.
And all of that, and you make a base, call it what you want to. You put in a tray, and then you make depressions, and you slide in the yolks. And then you gently steam this whole thing in a stack. And you serve them, you kind of cut squares and serve them as you're going down the line. And it's called chicken maiwala.
And as Kurush and I talked more and more, the smell of beautiful Bengali food prepared by Rhea was wafting over every single sentence that we had. It's one thing to learn the history, but to have the smells and taste the traditional flavors just meant so much more. And let me tell you, this meal was out of this world.
Put a ladle full of dal, and with the dal you eat the fries. That's your first course.
To truly experience the soul of Indian cuisine, you have to go home, and no Bengali meal could ever be finished without sweets. And here are the sweets that Rhea chose for us this evening.
What's that one?
This is called a Malai sandwich.
Okay.
There's
I
no
haven't
bread.
had that before.
There's no bread involved.
So Beej has discovered Chum Chum out here, and I gotta say, the mishti out here is insane. So this is his second ever one, and the first one, he almost died.
Here you go.
It just keeps getting better as I eat it, too.
And it develops in your mouth as you warm it up.
Camera.
So there is basically what a rasgulla is for the common man, up and down, and there is milk that's been reduced to a custard in the center, and that's it.
Yeah, it's
It's-
shaped differently, but yeah, it's chana
And there's a little bit of custard on
it's
top.
just like 3 or 4 versions of milk.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Milk like this and milk like that.
Man.
These 2 days in Lonavala were amazing, and I asked a favor of Kurush. I wanted to sit down on film and record 2 separate interviews talking about his life and also what it's like to be an archaeologist studying food from the subcontinent. And what I got was an incredible 2 interviews. I'm going to play you a clip of just one section of this interview. And if you want to know more and hear the rest of the interview, leave me a comment in the comments below that you want more.
Okay, so all food is appropriation. Every single thing that we eat, we have appropriated from somewhere and someone at some point in time. And ingredients, for example, have been traveling so far across the planet that calling it appropriation is a joke. When you eat a quinoa salad in Delhi, are you appropriating the food of the Andes? No, it's an ingredient. If you make a beef Wellington in Tasmania, can you say no, just because the colonials came here, it's our beef Wellington? No, it's not really an appropriation, is it? They did get there. But what if you made a beef Wellington in Japan? It is still a beef Wellington. Your take on it, your riff on it is more of a homage to the dish than anything else. Yes, if you decide to take something that is made in a certain part of the globe and you do a terrible job of it, it's just terribly bad cooking. It's not appropriation. So I think that appropriation is a misused term. It's a term of bullying. When you want to bully people who are doing something very, very good with the kind of food you used to eat, you get on that mighty high horse of appropriation because you haven't been able to sell your food well enough and somebody else has.